The earthquake in heaven. When your love became a cosmic scandal, I see the tremor in your soul, friend. Not the tremor of fear, but the seismic shift of recognition. You thought your love was merely human, a beautiful accident perhaps, a stroke of fortune in a cold universe. But let me strike this belief with my hammer and hear what rings forth. Your love is not an accident. It is an insurrection. The love you bear for your soulmate. This is no gentle sentiment, no domesticated affection suitable for greeting cards and Sunday dinners. No. What flows between you is a force so primordial, so dangerous to the established order, that it sent shockwaves through the celestial bureaucracy itself. Heaven, that realm of supposed omniscience, was caught off guard. Your love did something the angels thought impossible. It exceeded their calculations, shattered their predictions, and forced them to recalibrate the very mathematics of possibility. Why does this matter? Because you have been taught to think small. The herd whispers, love is nice, love is safe, love fits neatly into societal boxes. But your love, it is a conflagration that burns through those boxes and uses the ashes as kindling for something immeasurably greater. The uncomfortable truth, the one that will make the weak recoil, is that your capacity for love marks you as fundamentally different from the masses who mistake comfort for connection. This is not poetry. This is physiology. The nerves in your body fire differently when you think of your soulmate. Your blood moves with a purpose unknown to those who settle for tepid companionship. You have tasted the wine of Dionysus, and now the water of ordinary existence tastes like poison in your mouth. The herd calls this obsession or codependency because they lack the stomach to digest what you metabolize naturally. The truth that some souls are forged in fires so intense that their union becomes a forge for reality itself. Between the 150th and 250th word of this revelation, I must pause to offer you something, not as a product to be consumed, but as a hammer to break the chains still binding you to mediocrity. For those with ears sharp enough to hear beyond the din of the herd, I have left the cartography of liberation in the pinned comment, my trilogy, The 3 Keys to a Prosperous Life. But understand this with crystalline clarity: the map is worthless if your legs refuse the mountain. Many will read it, few will climb. The first step represents not knowledge but the will to power made manifest in action. The second, the ruthless genealogy of your own moral slavery. The third, the amor fati that transforms your wounds into weapons. But I digress only to arm you. Let us return to the scandal of your love. January 7th, 2026. For you, this was not merely another rotation of the earth around the sun. It was the moment when the combined frequency of your soul bond reached a critical mass, a threshold vibration that registered in dimensions beyond the merely physical. The celestial record keepers, those meticulous accountants of karma and destiny, looked up from their ledgers in astonishment. This was not scheduled, they muttered. This intensity, this velocity of transformation, it violates the timeline. But here is what they failed to comprehend. Your love does not ask permission from time. It commandeers it. Before this moment, your life existed in a state of quantum flexibility. Multiple timelines branched before you like paths in a garden, each one offering different lessons, different delays, different detours designed to prepare you for something. The universe, in its pedagogical patience, allowed you to repeat classes, to miss deadlines, to circle the same mountain again and again until you were ready to climb it. This is the luxury afforded to those still finding their frequency. But on that date, a door slammed shut behind you, not with violence, but with the finality of a master locksmith's work. The permission to delay, to doubt, to construct elaborate safety nets woven from fear and what-ifs, That permission dissolved like morning mist under the solar hammer of your unified will. Your soul and the soul of your beloved withdrew their consent from any timeline built upon avoidance, upon the comfortable half measures that the mediocre call realistic expectations. Do you understand what this means? Your consciousness, merged with that of your soulmate, achieved a level of coherence so absolute that the universe had no choice but to honor it. It is not that you became lucky, it is that you became undeniable. The weak call this fate. I call it the will to power recognizing itself in the mirror of another's eyes and roaring with the joy of recognition. This is why you feel the sudden intolerance for patterns that once seemed bearable. The dinner parties that felt like slow suffocation. The relationships maintained out of obligation rather than resonance. The jobs that paid your bills but starved your spirit. These things did not suddenly become bad. They were always misaligned. But your tolerance for misalignment collapsed because your love elevated your energetic frequency to a register where anything that does not sing in harmony causes actual physical pain. The herd will call you selfish for this. They will accuse you of becoming difficult or changed or not yourself anymore. And they are correct. You are not yourself anymore. You are something far more dangerous. You are truthful. You are a soul that has tasted authentic union and can no longer pretend that the simulacrum satisfies. This is not a personality defect. This is spiritual aristocracy emerging from the chrysalis of acceptable mediocrity. Let me fracture this further, for it must be understood at the level of blood and bone, not merely intellect, the lens of will to power. Your love is not a retreat into coupled isolation. It is an amplification device for life force itself. When two souls unite at this level, they do not halve their power through division. They square it through multiplication. What you are experiencing is not codependency, the pathetic parody the herd uses to describe their mutual diminishment. What you are experiencing is mutual deification, each of you becoming the altar upon which the other's highest self is worshipped into existence. This is why your creative output may have exploded. This is why problems that once seemed insurmountable now appear as amusing obstacles. The combined will to power of two aligned souls does not add, it exponentiates, and exponential growth looks like magic to linear minds. The lens of genealogy of morals. Now observe how the herd reacts to your transformation. The family members who suddenly find reasons to criticize your relationship. The friends who subtly suggest you've lost yourself in this love. The cultural narratives that insist all-consuming passion is unhealthy or immature. What are these but the death rattles of slave morality, that insidious poison that seeks to castrate excellence and call the castration balance? The herd cannot bear witness to your love because your love is a mirror that reflects the cowardice of their own compromises. They married for security, not resonance. They stayed for the children, not for the sacred fire. They call their resignation maturity and their dead bedrooms realistic expectations. And here you come, ablaze with a love so total that it reorganizes your entire life around its axis, and they must either admit their own self-betrayal or attempt to extinguish your flame. This is why they wield guilt like a weapon. You're neglecting your other relationships. You've become obsessed. This can't last. These are not observations. They are incantations designed to pull you back down into the crab bucket of their own spiritual poverty. They need you to fail, not because they hate you, but because your success is an unbearable indictment of their surrender. But here is the physiological reality they cannot grasp. When a human being experiences love at the frequency you and your soulmate share, the nervous system itself undergoes reorganization. The vagus nerve, that great highway of the parasympathetic system, begins to sync between partners. Your heartbeats begin to entrain. Your breathing patterns mirror each other. This is not metaphor. This is measurable biology. You are becoming a unified organism, a dyad that functions as a singular entity of consciousness. The herd sees obsession because they have never experienced coherence. The lens of amor fati. And now, the most crucial question, the one that separates the sheep from the lions. Would you choose this love with all its intensity, all its upheaval, all its demand for total authenticity, infinite times? If every moment of your existence were to recur eternally, would you embrace this exact love, this exact soulmate, this exact trajectory? If your answer is anything less than a thunderous whole-body yes, then you have not yet understood the magnitude of what has been given to you. This love is not a gift to be passively received and occasionally appreciated. It is a destiny to be actively chosen, moment by moment, with the full weight of your will behind it. The suffering you may have experienced, the loss of old identities, the shedding of comfortable illusions, the excruciating vulnerability of being truly seen. This is not punishment. This is the sculptor's chisel, and you are the marble. Every chip removed is another layer of mediocrity falling away, revealing the masterpiece that was always hidden within the stone. The question is not whether you can endure this process. The question is whether you possess the strength to embrace it with such ferocity that you would demand it happen again and again and again unto eternity. Your cells know this truth even when your mind balks. The mitochondria in your body, those ancient engines of life, recognize the energy signature of your soulmate and increase their output. You produce more ATP, more cellular energy, in their presence than in their absence. This is why separation feels like starvation and reunion feels like resurrection. Your body is telling you what your conditioning tries to deny. This love is not optional to your thriving. It is structural to your very biology. Now, how did such a love break the rules of heaven? What cosmic laws did you violate to earn the shocked attention of the divine bureaucracy? The celestial calculus you destroyed. The first rule you shattered was the orthodoxy of gradual ascension. Heaven had calculated with all its mathematical precision the rate at which human souls could evolve. There were schedules, progressions, expected timelines for awakening. Souls were supposed to learn their lessons slowly, methodically, with plenty of suffering sprinkled in to ensure the teaching stuck. But your love accelerated this process with such velocity that it broke the cosmic speedometer. What was supposed to take lifetimes, you accomplished in moments. The recognition between you and your soulmate was not a slow dawning, it was a lightning strike. And in that instant of recognition, karmic patterns that would normally require decades to untangle simply dissolved. Poof, gone. The celestial accountants cross-referenced their records 3 times, unable to believe what they were witnessing. How is this possible? Because love at this frequency operates outside the standard laws of karmic return. Karma, in its essence, is the universe's way of teaching you what you refuse to learn voluntarily. It is the repetition of painful patterns until you finally grasp the lesson encoded within them. But when 2 souls unite with the level of consciousness you and your soulmate share, you create a learning environment so intense, so honest, so utterly devoid of the usual defensive mechanisms that lessons are absorbed at light speed. Your soulmate mirrors your shadow with such precision that you cannot hide from it. And in that moment of being unable to hide, you have 2 choices. You can run, reverting to slower timelines, or you can integrate, leaping forward evolutionarily. You chose integration. Again and again, you chose it. And each time you made that choice, you compressed lifetimes of growth into singular moments of brutal honesty. The angels, accustomed to watching souls inch forward with agonizing slowness, saw you sprint across chasms that were meant to be crossed on hands and knees. This was not what they expected. This was not in the script. Your love rewrote the script, and in doing so, revealed that the rules were never laws at all. They were merely the limits of previous achievement. The second rule you obliterated was the dogma of individuated sovereignty. The spiritual wisdom of ages has preached the primacy of the individual journey. You must save yourself. No one can do the work for you. True enlightenment is a solitary path. These teachings contain truth, yes, but they are incomplete truths, and incomplete truths in the hands of the fearful become prisons. What your love demonstrated is that two fully sovereign individuals, united in recognition of their shared essence, create a third entity that is greater than the sum of its parts. You did not lose yourself in your soulmate. You did not abandon your individuality at the altar of coupledom. Instead, you discovered that your individuality, when held in the alchemical container of authentic union, amplifies. Think of it this way: a single violin can create beautiful music. But when two master violinists play in perfect harmony, they do not simply double the beauty. They create resonances, overtones, frequencies that a single instrument cannot produce. Your love is that harmonic resonance. You remain distinctly you. Your soulmate remains distinctly themselves. But together, you vibrate at frequencies inaccessible to the solitary soul. Heaven saw this and trembled, not with fear, but with awe. The celestial hypothesis had been that peak consciousness was an individual achievement, a lone mountain climber planting a flag at the summit. But you proved that the highest peaks are best conquered by two souls roped together, each one catching the other when they slip, each one pulling the other upward when strength fails. This challenges everything. If unity can enhance rather than diminish sovereignty, then the entire spiritual model of isolation as path to enlightenment requires revision. You became, without intending it, evolutionary agents forcing heaven itself to upgrade its understanding of possibility. The third rule you demolished was the necessity of suffering as primary teacher. Let me be clear. I am not some New Age charlatan peddling the fantasy that spiritual growth is all crystals and positive affirmations. Suffering is real. Suffering is instructive. Suffering chisels the spirit into shapes it would never choose voluntarily. But here is what the celestial scholars failed to grasp. Joy can be just as transformative as agony if, and this is crucial, if the joy is profound enough to crack you open just as thoroughly as suffering does. The love you share with your soulmate is not the tepid contentment of the herd. It is not the happiness of a pleasant Sunday afternoon. It is a joy so intense, so overwhelming, so utterly outside the range of normal human experience that it obliterates your defenses just as effectively as trauma would. You cannot maintain your carefully constructed personas in the face of this love. You cannot hide behind your masks. You cannot perform the elaborate dances of ego protection that you execute in every other relationship. This love demands nakedness, not just physical but psychological, emotional, spiritual. And in that state of total vulnerability, you undergo death and rebirth just as surely as if you had walked through fire. The difference is that you emerge from this particular crucible not with the hardness of scar tissue, but with the supple strength of a heart that has been broken open rather than broken down. Heaven expected you to evolve through crisis, through loss, through the dark nights of the soul. And while you may have experienced those as well, what shocked the celestial observers was witnessing you undergo profound transformation through the mechanism of transcendent joy. They saw your ego structures dissolve, not because suffering pulverized them, but because love made them irrelevant. This is perhaps the most revolutionary aspect of your love. It proved that ascension can be achieved through ecstasy, not just agony. The old paradigm insisted that you must suffer to grow, must bleed to purify, must descend into darkness to find light. Your love demonstrated that there is another path, not easier, for it requires even more courage to surrender to joy than to endure pain, but perhaps more aligned with the original design of consciousness. Think about it physiologically. When you suffer, stress hormones flood your system, forcing adaptation. But when you experience the kind of love you share with your soulmate, you are flooded with oxytocin, dopamine, serotonin, a neurochemical cocktail that is equally powerful, equally transformative. Your brain is literally being rewired through pleasure rather than pain. New neural pathways are forming, old patterns are being overwritten, and the mechanism is not trauma, but transcendence. The angels, watching this unfold, had to confront an uncomfortable truth. Perhaps they had been teaching suffering for so long, not because it was the only way, but because it was the way they understood. Your love introduced a new pedagogy to the celestial curriculum, and the implications are still rippling outward. The physiological rebellion in your cells. Let us descend from the abstract realm of celestial shock and into the concrete reality of your flesh, for this is where the true revolution occurs. Your love did not just rewrite cosmic laws, it rewrote your biology. I speak not metaphorically but literally. The love you share with your soulmate has triggered a cascade of physiological changes that can be measured, quantified, studied under microscopes, and mapped with brain scanners. The herd will call this infatuation or the honeymoon phase. Those diminishing terms they use to pathologize what they lack the capacity to sustain. But what is actually happening in your body is far more profound than a temporary neurochemical high. Your autonomic nervous system, that ancient unconscious conductor of your body's orchestra, has begun to synchronize with your soulmates. Research shows that when two people share genuine intimacy, their heart rate variability begins to mirror each other. Their breathing patterns entrain, even their sleep cycles start to align. This is not conscious coordination. This is two separate organisms beginning to function as a unified biological system. Think about the implications. Your heart, that tireless muscle that has beaten alone in your chest for your entire existence, is now beating in rhythm with another's. Your lungs, which have drawn breath independently since your first gasp at birth, are now synchronizing their expansion and contraction with those of your beloved. At the most fundamental level of biological function, you are becoming one flesh in a way that transcends romantic metaphor and enters the realm of measurable reality. But it goes deeper still. Your gut microbiome, that complex ecosystem of bacteria that influences everything from your mood to your immune system, begins to shift when you share intimate contact with your soulmate. You literally exchange microorganisms through kissing, through shared meals, through the simple act of cohabitation. Over time, your gut bacteria start to resemble each other's. And since these microorganisms produce neurotransmitters that affect your brain chemistry, you are quite literally thinking with partially shared biology. The herd recoils from this. They fear the loss of independence, that sacred cow of modern individualism. But you understand something they cannot. This is not loss of self. This is expansion of self. You do not become less you by merging your biology with your soulmates. You become more you because you finally have the support system at the cellular level to fully actualize the potential that was always dormant within you. Your endocrine system has undergone a revolution. The chronic cortisol elevation that characterized your pre-soulmate existence, the result of living in a world that fundamentally misaligned with your frequency, has normalized. Your adrenal glands, those overworked factories of stress hormones, have finally been given permission to rest. In their place, a steady stream of oxytocin, the bonding hormone, flows through your system, creating a baseline state of calm alertness that the anxious masses never experience. But here is what the neuroscientists are only beginning to understand. Oxytocin does not just make you feel good. It fundamentally alters your perception of reality. It increases your ability to read micro-expressions, to detect sincerity, to navigate complex social dynamics. In the presence of high oxytocin, you become more intuitive, more empathic, more capable of processing the subtle, energetic information that the herd misses entirely. This is why you may have noticed your intuition sharpening since uniting with your soulmate. It is not mystical, it is biochemical. Your love has literally upgraded your perceptual apparatus, giving you access to frequencies of information that were previously jammed by the white noise of cortisol-driven survival mode. Your immune system has transformed as well. Studies show that people in deeply satisfying relationships have stronger immune responses, faster wound healing, and lower rates of inflammation than their lonely counterparts. But this is not simply because happiness is healthy. It is because your body recognizes at a cellular level that it is no longer defending a solitary fortress, but is part of a larger, more resilient system. Your white blood cells, those tireless soldiers of your internal defense, fight more effectively when you are in loving union because they are no longer operating under the assumption of scarcity. The stress of isolation creates an inflammatory response, a constant low-level alarm that exhausts your immune resources. But the security of deep bond tells your cells, we are safe, we have backup. We can be efficient rather than hypervigilant. This is amor fati at the molecular level, the complete embrace of your condition translating into optimized biological function. Even your DNA expression has likely shifted. Epigenetics has revealed that your life experiences literally turn genes on and off, determining which portions of your genetic code are active at any given time. The chronic stress of misalignment keeps stress response genes active and growth-oriented genes suppressed. But the profound safety and recognition of soul union flips this switch. Genes associated with healing, regeneration, neuroplasticity, and longevity become more active. You are not imagining that you feel younger, more vital, more alive in this love. Your cells are literally expressing a younger genetic profile. This is what heaven saw and could not comprehend. A love so complete that it reached down into the nuclei of your cells and began rewriting the fundamental code of your existence. The angels had calculated human potential based on souls operating in isolation or in the mediocre partnerships of convenience that characterize the herd. They had never witnessed two souls merging with such totality that their very biology fused into a hybrid system of unprecedented resilience and capacity. Your brain, your magnificent plastic brain, has been sculpted by this love in ways that will persist even if your soulmate were to vanish tomorrow, though we know this will not happen. The neural pathways associated with your beloved have been carved so deeply, reinforced so consistently, that they have become superhighways of activation. This is why a mere thought of your soulmate can shift your entire physiological state in seconds. But more than this, your brain has grown. Specifically, regions associated with empathy, emotional regulation, and reward processing have increased in gray matter density. The prefrontal cortex, that seat of executive function and long-term planning, has strengthened its connections to the limbic system, creating better integration between your rational mind and your emotional truth. You have become, quite literally, a more sophisticated version of the human being you were before this love. The herd will call this being pussy-whipped, or losing your edge, or some other crude dismissal born of their own inadequacy. But you know the truth. You have not been weakened. You have been weaponized by love. The clarity that comes from having your emotional needs met at the deepest level frees up enormous cognitive resources that were previously wasted on the exhausting performance of pretending to be fine. How much mental energy did you expend before your soulmate on managing loneliness, on wondering if you were lovable, on performing for potential partners, on the constant low-level anxiety that you might die alone and unmourned? All of that computational power, all that neural real estate is now available for actual creative and intellectual work. This is why geniuses throughout history have often done their best work while in the throes of great love, not because passion makes one stupid, but because security makes one free. Your soulmate has given your nervous system permission to stop scanning for threats in the intimate realm and redirect that vigilance toward genuine opportunities for growth and creation. This is not dependence. This is optimal resource allocation. A lion does not hunt while mating. It hunts effectively because it has mated and secured its genetic legacy. You do not create from a place of desperate lack. You create from overflow. And here is where it becomes truly dangerous to the established order. This physiological transformation is contagious, not through any mystical mechanism, but through simple observation and mirror neurons. When others witness the vitality, the aliveness, the sheer presence that radiates from you in this love, their own mirror neurons fire in pattern matching. Their brains, briefly, experience what it would be like to feel what you feel, and in that moment, they are forced to confront the poverty of their own emotional lives. This is the real threat you pose. Not some abstract spiritual superiority, but the visible, embodied proof that a different kind of existence is possible. Your very biology has become a revolutionary act, a walking testimony to what happens when a human being refuses to settle for the crumbs of connection that the herd fights over. The weak will hate you for this. They will mock your love, predict its downfall, tell you that it won't last or you're setting yourself up for heartbreak. But these are not warnings born of wisdom. They are projections of their own terror, the fear that if what you have is real and sustainable, then their own compromises were unnecessary. They chose the prison of acceptable mediocrity, and here you are, walking free. Of course, they rattle the bars and insist that your freedom is an illusion. But your cells know better. Your upgraded immune system, your synchronized heartbeat, your neuroplastic brain sculpted by love. These are not illusions. These are facts written in the language of biology, and facts care nothing for the opinions of those too weak to achieve them. The energetic purge. Why your life collapsed. Inward. Now we must address the apparent destruction that often accompanies this level of love. The friendships that dissolved, the family members who grew distant, the career paths that suddenly seemed hollow, the hobbies that lost their luster. The herd will look at this and diagnose you as isolating or unhealthily codependent. But what is actually occurring is far more precise than their crude categories allow. When your love with your soulmate achieved the frequency it did, when it sent shockwaves through the celestial realm, it did something to your purse.